What is up, crawler fans, RC enthusiasts, and social media surfers? I'm your boy Josh with Texoma RC. That's a little bit of a slow start from a truckster, but check it out, dude. Extra special high lift edition. Lifted up, out of control, got portals, dude. Check him out. Looking great, dude. The MEUS portals are fancy. Shiny parts. Excuse me. Sorry about that. All right, dude. So you're looking at the all-new SCX24 cabbed Elite. It's not a caged Elite. It's a cabbed Elite. I have a hood for it. We're working on it. This is prototype testing, dude. I also have the SCX24 just caged Elite. Just the Elite. It's not actually caged Elite. It's just Elite. So, anyways, that is available on the Etsy store, dude. I've been working on it. I've been working super hard to make sure all these parts, it was basically ready, but I had to make a few corrections to get it to run the cab, and now we're there, dude. So in the setup right now, I'm running way too loose, running 43mm shocks, and we probably don't need that, but I just swapped Maximus over and then put the NANO BAM in there. So freaking killing it, dude. Absolutely loving it. So Craig is running the other 68mm DJCrawler tires, and although this is not showing, maybe the best start, they did seem to do very well. So I don't know how heavy he is. He's going to be pretty heavy, and he's very, very wide, as you could tell. I got him by probably 3/8 of an inch in length, maybe even a little more, and he's got me probably that in width, maybe more. So there you go, dude. One's like a square and one's like a rectangle. There you go. Alright, so I said that I was running the NANO BAM in Maximus, the Grapist Elite, dude. Okay, so I for a long time have pushed brushed motors. Why? Well, number one, dude, money, right? You shouldn't have to feel like you got to go spend you know, $130 or whatever for the Stinger kit or whatever, a micro with a Lizard Pro or something like this, right? Whatever it is, you're going to spend $100 to $150 to get a brushed system if you're new, and that's if it's a brand new setup. Okay, so but for $15 you could put an Endura Pro in, and you know, you got you know, awesome from where you are. As long as you keep it low weight, you can keep your stock ESC. Then you want to do a little, you want more control, you want it better. Now you can add a brushed ESC aftermarket from Lizard Pro, or sorry, from Furatech. I always just run Lizard Pro. That way you could run brushed or brushless, you know, or you could run a dinky. So that's pretty much all the options. I would just recommend going with the Furatech if it was me. Ooh, so good. Real quick, this obstacle right here, Craig, this is one that he just kicked my butt up on. He went up this easily. My car was just not hitting proper. It just did not hit this the way his is. I believe it had to do with width and length. You know, that's what happens when you run two rigs that are quite different. That you're going to find obstacles that one's going to do and the other one is not. And it just has to do with width, weight, and length, and how you hit the rock, right? And it doesn't mean that one's a baddie and one's not. Makes no difference. I'll have other obstacles later that his width hurts him and mine makes it. Same, you know, it's the same thing. It's just, anyways, just different rigs are going to have different obstacles. So they can go up. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. That one was just freaking rough, dude. Anyways, back to the brushed versus brushless motors. So like a little history, little story on me. So I stopped running brushless motors because I got tired of breaking parts. That's the #1 reason, right? Also, I wanted to show in the Slayers that it was not necessary. I did enjoy the brushed or brushless motors, jeez. But when I ran gates, no matter what, every time my brushed motor won. Every freaking time. Like, I got tired of taking out my supposed to be baddie rigs with brushless SCX24s, and my brushed rigs, I could do better running gates. A cheaper, just simpler setup on a Slayer would beat it. And it was, so that's what happened. So between breaking parts, and how much money it costs. And again, when I actually went and ran gates, usually it's again probably because I was filming and I start to stress and pressure, so that's probably it. But when I ran gates, I did worse with a brushless setup every time, dude. So I stopped recommending it. Right? I wanted people to be able to get, your money out of what you're paying for. If I'm going to recommend it, dude, if you're running gates, then that's the crap, right? Like, there's no question that a brushed motor is not, wow, like a brushless motor. There's no question. Obviously, if the gearing isn't right, the feel's going to suck. So that's the other thing. So then I was still running brushless on the SCX24 axles. So I was running the SCX24 transmission with FCX axles. I hate that. So that was the last brushless motor hanging on in the fleet, was in that type of setup, and it's not good. Why is that? Because of brushless? No, not at all. That's because it's a wrong gearing. SCX24 transmission on FCX24 axles is just the wrong gearing, right? So that's not a brushed versus brushless, although it kind of got mixed in there. So I have tried to hold a line, trying to demonstrate that you don't need to spend a crazy ton of money, nice rip, to have a performer rig. I tried to demonstrate over and over and over again in all these videos showing with brushed motors how you can slow crawl, how awesome it is, and I do absolutely love it. There's no question, dude, this brushless rig is better. As far as just like there was no time that I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I had my brush rig. How about that? So there is no question, if there was one thing other than the obvious super awesome low torque, if there's one thing the brushless is going to dominate, that's the downhill. So there's one thing, dude, downhill. Obviously slow torque, having torque and whatever, that's definitely obvious. But if there's one other thing, it's right here. The control of descent that you have is unmatched on a brushed system. Especially when you run the normal setup that I recommend with the Endura Pro, which has a high startup. And that's what I've always told people. That is the one thing that it really sucks at, is the downhill. So you will, from comparing my normal setup, which sucks kind of in comparison to this on the downhill. Other than that, dude, I still love the brushed setup that I have recommended. It is still awesome. It still gives great feel, right? So the point, I guess, that I really have stuck on is holding to what actually gives you the most performance for the least amount of money, right? The least investment for the most performance. That has been my focus, right? You might call that budget. At the same time, I call that performance. When you can't get actual more performance, you just spend more money, it makes it look pretty, maybe it's more durable, whatever, then, that's really cool to me, because it allows people to get into the game that could not, right? For me, I wanted to do 1/10, scale, MEUS, and these type of things. I saw them. I thought they were so freaking rad. I can't afford that. I would never have freaking buddies to play with. It would take me forever to build something like that, as far as saving up the money. And, I just can't do that. But I can do this scale. And so that was the deal. So I had that, and so I took everything that I could think of and whatever, and I've been trying to bring that out for you guys. Like some of these ideas, this hood idea, this was 8 months ago I wanted to do this. It's just not where I was at. I wasn't printing plastic. It might have been almost a year ago that I had the idea that I wanted to shape a hood around the whole servo and whatever. I didn't have a boa in mind at the time, but I wanted to put it around the servo and have it connected to the front axle. So that's what I did. It just took me almost a year to get there. So anyways, I am super freaking stoked to bring this rig out. I love the cages. I love my styling, obviously. It's me. However, not everybody does, dude. Not everybody thinks Texoma style is the awesomest. So you know what, dude? I bring something out a little different, and we're gonna bring a cabbed Elite out. So it's a little heavy, but you know, when it's proper setup, it should be freaking rad. It's again super loose, dude. It is so fun to drive though. It will hang on the range 98% of crevice, or in my bestest rigs ever on the range. It will hang right there, dude. Will do absolutely awesome things. I feel like it probably could use a little bit more overdrive, so we'll probably be swapping to a 50% at some point, or maybe we'll just get like a 10% or whatever, the small one, and put that in the rear. Isn't there a 12%? Or no, it's a 20% underdrive. I don't remember, dude. I don't remember. But yeah, going to like a 50 I think would be good. So as long as the front end keeps pulling, it doesn't pop up. But you'll watch at some points it gets caught up, or it will drop, and it just peaks out and it looks hella crazy. So, but you know what, dude? It's a rock crawler. What do you want? It does, you know, like it'll run on the range. I told my buddy Eric the other day, it'll run the range and then it'll step over something like a 2x4 on edge. Just walk right over it. You're like, what? No, like, you know, flooring it, you know, no trigger time. Just walk it. That's dope, dude. Come on. And it will go on the range. Come on, dude. I thought this pull-up right here was pretty sweet. Come on, dude. Caught the rear tire. The rear passenger is caught up right now. Not good. If I was like Craig, I could just keep pulling the trigger. I think I do. I think I... Come on, you got to work it up. Dude, let's go. So, man, if you're new here, this is not the greatest video, but you know what, dude? It's our first time back in it. We got to get this done, and then I got to get cleaned up, and we will start showing all this stuff off. I'm going to be done drawing for a little bit. I am not going to worry about the CR18P right now. I have like maybe like one person that's even interested. I've only sold a few CR18Ps, period. Just doesn't seem like anybody actually believes me. Maybe I haven't put enough time into showing them off. But early on, I just saw that nobody was wanting it, so I stopped really giving it attention. So, in my opinion, it's a better choice than the SCX24, especially if you go with a builder's edition. It's just freaking rad. You just build a Slayer from the box, dude. Super duper rad. So on a Pro, the 18P SCX24s are going to be rad. I definitely recommend it with a Pro. On the Elite, I'm gonna say that unless you have a minimum of 30% overdrive, I'm not gonna recommend it, dude. It does okay. It's just like, I don't know. If you just want it, then rad. It is cool. It will do the chunk like this with no overdrive. But when you really want to go start to do something crazy, it needs the overdrive. The link geometry needs overdrive to keep it down. Obviously, again, like I said, we were running way too loose. I only got one set of stretched out bands on here. So I could, you know, anyways, we just need to address that. And I think the rear links are one hole forward. They need to move one hole back. Little things that will make differences in how it performs. So we did freaking awesome today. Really, really happy with what it did. I had a lot of stupid falls trying to put it in crazy situations. And so that kind of sucks. I ended up running in the back most of the time because every time I got in front, I did something stupid and just let it fall over. So there you go, dude. But Craig did awesome today. Truckster is killing it. We have not switched yet. He's still running the high lift. We're coming up, I think, pretty quick on first battery change, and he is going to switch to the to his other truckster running a brushless setup. Badass. Oh, speaking of, dude, trucksters are actually for sale. I have purple, like a purple pink, purplish pink, and a and then a blue gray color, two of them. So I got, I think you gave me 3 or 4, 5 of them. I'll have to go see. I will get that up on the Etsy store if you guys want the truckster. It is like a stock swap. pretty freaking rad. You can use, it does come with screws, but then you'll need the rest of the screws from your stock rig or from a screw kit to finish the build. So it does have what you need. Same thing with the Slayers. It comes with the screws for the chassis, but you're going to need to add the rest of the screws. I hate that it's that way, but that's the way it is for today. I am going to get that fixed as soon as I can. All right, let's go, Greggy Poo, dude. Just freaking struggling, dude. This is what I was talking about before. You win some, you lose some. It's all a compromise. And so when you're in front choosing obstacles that you can beat your buddy on is a great idea. So, although on the first one that he got me on, that was my fault. I chose that obstacle thinking that I could get up there, and I just couldn't make it, dude. I just couldn't freaking get the wheels. Just didn't hit right. Dang it. Dang it. Let's go, dude. He's trying everything he can. Like typical, when you're in a situation like this, you try to back up and you do all this repositioning and you get put right back in the exact same spot. No good, dude. No good. No good. No good. Okay, we just set up top, dude. Here we go. Looking good, bro. I think it's got to be a pretty even matchup so far. He's got me. I got him. Doing good, bro. So, man, if you haven't got out with buddies and played Follow the Leader, come on, bro. You're missing it. You got to find some buddies, dude. Facebook, something. Find some buddies to play with. Get out on the rocks and go play. Maybe you got an indoor course. Maybe you could play in the air conditioning. I'd highly recommend it at this point. Although, you know what, dude? There's nothing wrong with a good sweat. So, by the way, during this video, oh my gosh, dude. Scary AF right there. And it gets worse. Woo! Let's go, dude. So that'd be right there. This is where it would be a little beneficial to be tighter, right? We don't want the cab popping up from cab weight. We only want the suspension to drop down from the suspension weight. So pretty much the way that it goes. Probably just need an extra set of bands or, yeah, probably that's what it is. We will get it fixed, bro. And the next time you see it, it'll have the hood on, dude. I spent a lot of time this weekend on the hood. It was pretty freaking cool. At some point, maybe we'll redo the front of it so that it has separate bezels, I guess, for the lights and things like that. Right now, you'd have to paint that stuff on there. But it does have like dimples and whatever, and you can drill out the holes. I left little dimples for holes to be drilled out for these stock lights. So there you go. So as far as it goes right now, all of the elites could get a cab. We're not really positive on the fitment of the hood on the rest of them. So like I was saying, although you could run the SCX24 and eventually I will come out with 18P parts, I am only going to worry about the cabbed Slayer with the SCX24 and the TRX4 and TRX4 mullet with the SCX24 rear axle. So those are the only ones that I am going to really worry about right now. Why? Because they're the best performers. The other ones are going to be okay, but it's like, why build that? Build a Pro if you have an SCX24 or an 18P. That's what I would recommend. Build a Pro. It's going to be better. The dropout is good, but it's again, without good overdrive, it's just not going to be the best, right? The best that it could be. So that's what I would recommend. And if you had an SCX24, all you'd have to do is get a TRX4 front axle and you could run the 18P transmission. Not going to be the greatest, but you certainly could do that. So that would definitely be my recommendation. So this right here is a super duper tough obstacle. You just kind of got to run it up in there and then see what happens, because it's always going to push and catch. And I've not made it through here plenty of times. As you can see, that rear driver is down in the hole. And so depending on what happens with it, it can start to bite, it can suck you sideways, and it can stop you from going forward. So, but dude, it's a real struggle. We are gonna win, I promise, dude. There it is, dude. finding a high side to be able to lift that clear and get clearance on the bottom. Finally got a little bite. Looking good, dude. Great job. Here we go, Craig. So Craig comes in here. He's kind of struggling, and he's like, okay, pushing, and made it look like it was just going to go, and it was going to be super duper easy. And then, not so much, dude. And then,
yeah, it's that rear
not so much, dude.
All the way on that rock there, dude.
So Craig in the truckster is running flubs in the front. I don't know what version flubs they are. And then the foams in the back.
Ooh,
I don't know if
nice,
they're
dude.
soft or hard.
Hell yeah, great job.
Here we go, dude. I love this freaking obstacle. Unfortunately, I messed it up here to start off with. It is not easy. Plus, again, we are too loose, too floppy.
Dude.
We need a little bit more tension.
Yeah.
Because right now we should have more tension from our front passenger to our rear driver. We should have tension across there. And we just didn't have enough tension to be able to keep pulling. So anyways, and now we are short on our obstacle. Came up a little bit short. Couldn't pull it off.
If you hit it right,
If you fall a little bit even shorter, then you just stuck on your steering link. So you had to get your wheel on that rock on the bottom. You have to get it to the far side of the rock, or just it's not going to go good. Or you could flip it over potentially and land on wheels, but it's not going to be clean. So here we go. Also, there's a point there that if you don't go off just right, it kind of F's you up. So that's what Craig's struggling with. He has swapped out now, not running the MEUS portals. I don't know what axles he's got on this one. If they may be MEUS axles, just not the portals. I'm not really sure. But he's got a pretty fancy servo in there, looking good, dude. That thing is so freaking pimp, Craig. Watch how slow it goes. So when you're the driver, this is rad. But when you're not the driver, like, and you're a guy like me, an impatient guy like me, this can get a little bit boring. So that's another reason why I like the brushed motors, is it makes everybody in the field keep it moving. Not that I don't go hella slow. Again, it's fine when I do it. That was a nice freaking save right there. Again, too floppy. When it hit the bottom, it stands up. And so again, that's one of those things where you have to keep forward motion on your front wheels and keep tension on your drivetrain. Keep tension on the link setup. So, but again, this is all just too loose. Not a great example of what a best setup it should be. I just wanted to get out. I was working on stuff all day, and so just to have a rig that ran was enough for me to go play with Craig. I wanted to see how it did, and we can always make the corrections. You will note the corrections. You'll see how well it does in the next video, and you will see the awesome hood. So upcoming, I am going to do it for sure because I have a ton of rigs to build. So I'm going to get my area clean so that I can build all these rigs, and I will begin to do some table videos, build videos, tips and tricks with techs. I will get all that going. So I just get so caught up drawing, and it's one of those things that if I don't stay absolute laser focused, then it like falls apart and I forget where I'm at. And you know, you're like, well, so then I got to now print, or, you know, it just starts to suck, dude. It really bogs down. I have to stay totally focused on what I'm doing, or just with the what or I lose it. And so that's kind of where I'm at. And but I feel like I got it, dude. I have to assemble it with the final little catch for the boa mount. I got to put that on there. It's for the hood. But I feel like I got all that going. And we just got to get it built up, check it out, and we'll get a run later today and talk about price and all that stuff. Well, we won't talk about price on the video, but we'll talk about it a little bit more. We'll definitely show it off, and then definitely look forward to some build videos. I'll show you how to finish these. You know, these, as same with the rest of the Elite cages, they come a little bit rough. It's just because I have the outside face down, and then the radius starts to come up. I'm going to see what I can do to change a few settings to get that to print a little bit better. But that's just something to be expected. Just at the transition on that radius, it's a little bit, it can be a little bit rough. But that is why, you know, I Texoma style. I Texoma light it, and I got sucked in the hole right here. I went a little bit too far, dude, and getting out was a pain in the ass. But we'll get it, dude. We'll get it. Stay with it. You just got to watch all your wheels and be gentle. This is where you could break an axle really easily. Because as the wheels hit, you're starting to pressure up, and if they change how they hit, it's going to totally change what you think it's doing, and it's just so easy to get bound and break a drive shaft. So that's what happens when you put the wheels in the right spot on the mountain. It goes right up. So great job. When you don't push too far, it looks great and beautiful. So anyways, again, we've got some cool stuff coming up, dude. Freaking super excited to be able to bring this out for everybody. Hey, dude, no humping, bro. Take it easy. Take it easy. Craig's going to push up in here. It's going to cost him, but it looks crazy. Watch. Okay, this is not an SCX24. This is a TRX-4. If there's one thing that the TRX-4 is an advantage over the SCX24, if you got a heavy finger, bro, this is the rig for you. Watch this. Oh my gosh, dude. I wouldn't do this in an Elite or just a Texoma RC rig in general. If you have my links, it may not hold up, dude. He would fold it in half with what it was doing. Did you see those freaking tires, dude? That thing was torquing out like a monster. Wow. Not something I would recommend doing, by the way, but a great testament to the tracks. Oh my gosh. What the heck was that? Great testament to the TRX-4M build. It is Traxxas tough, no question. So, but that right there is why I stopped using the brushless motors in the SCX24. Because if you did that with the SCX24, you could not only break a front CVD, you could break your rear drive shafts. Or sorry, your rear axles. It's, you know, they're just not going to hold up to that, dude. You could break all kind of stuff. It is a smaller rig. Nick showed the difference in his gears versus the SCX24. If nobody ever showed you that, it's ridiculous, the difference in gear, the bearings around the CVDs. It's ridiculous. It's like 3 times. The Traxxas is like 3 times bigger. Not even close. All of the drivetrain on the Traxxas is way bigger and tougher. There we go. Rip till you flip. There's one, dude. Great job. I think he let us down here. I told him to go down here. That's what it was. So he flipped. Here we go. I'm going to try it. Too light in the rear end. Can't step off like that. Well, it could just be also too loose. Also having oil-filled shocks could potentially help that as well. That's one thing with the 43s. These are, I usually run 500K diff lube in the 43s, but these have been running for a good amount of time. They are pretty well used, and right now they're not really dampening too much. So on a heavier rig, I definitely would recommend going to the 39mm oil-filled, whether Enduras or Hobby Plus or whatever. There's a bunch of good ones out there. But yes, the 39mm oil-filled shocks definitely help. Watch this, dude. Oh my gosh. Showing off at the end. We got a good one to show off.
Holy crap.
Beat that, Craig. Let's go. Ah! Now bring it all the way down. Maybe not the cleanest, all the way. Look at this. Ooh. So nasty, dude. Not controlled, but we on wheels. We on wheels, dude. And the cage popped off. By the way, I did add screws. I was going to try to make like some sort of catch. I was like, dude, what the heck? That's all so much work. I added screws on the inside. They're easy access. You could even just have them so they're just tight enough to hold it on, and you could still access underneath the roof. You don't really have to get underneath there because all your stuff's on the front axle. But in case you need to get to the motor or you need to change your bands or whatever, the roof comes off. So, rip till you fluke!